Okay, keep going.
George Wrigley was the program director back in the 60s for Henry Horner's housing project in public housing in Chicago. And George Wrigley worked for one of the first directors for the Girls and Boys Club. The first founded Boys and Girls Club was founded on the west side of Chicago in the Henry Horner's projects in that gym. And George was one of the first directors. And when uh, what's his name?
Jesse White.
Jesse White came along. All he did was foul. He was like a nerd, but he wanted to know how to do everything else, basketball and everything. And George started teaching him stuff. So George had to go away for a weekend or something happened. I'm not sure. When he came back, they had made Jesse White the director.
Mm.
And all the secrets that George had told Jesse White, he had told it to the city. And they fired George. And Jesse White had all George's secrets. Even down, well, he wasn't old enough to know that. First time Chinese Japanese jump rope came along, it was with a rubber band. They were giant rubber bands. And the first people that did it was black people in America.
Mm.
And
Is it double dutch or jump rope?
it was double dutch. First double dutch was rubber bands.
Hmm.
And they went around the leg. And they did the double dutch. And they did a dance in between the rubber bands and popped the rubber bands from side to side while the girls danced in between side to side. Sometimes there was up to 12 girls in between.
Mm.
George had to look himself ready. But a man came along and he expanded it. George had his tumblers were separate,
Mm-hmm.
but Jesse White put them together. George couldn't put them together because the state wouldn't allow it.
Mm.
The tumblers were guys; they were not girls.
Mm-hmm.
And the jump rope was for all girls,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't put at the time guys and girls projects together. And Jesse White showed them all what George said about what to save the city money by combining the boys and the girls and tumbling and teaching the boys how to jump rope and all that. All that was George's idea.
Mm. That's why we need to learn to keep our mouths shut because we got good ideas that people like to take from us.
And that's why I want to say stuff to Yesha, but he talk too much. See,
I got candles.
huh?
I got candles. They got them at Aldi's now.
Okay, yeah, I need you to burn the candle.
I'm gonna light one tonight.
You got a scripture?
No.
You can know my purse. I have like three or four of them in my purse. Keep,
We're gonna talk about that later.
okay. Okay, well, that was it. A lot of stuff we've done and it's been done around Illinois was our idea. I mean, like be it beholden to me to say that I called Reagan and changed the whole rhythm of the United States. But he turned around after he discovered there was so much money saved up and that the state had so much over money that they didn't have nothing to do with. He decided to break down the Soviet wall and give them $73 trillion 3 times. And then tried to charge France for not wanting to go along with it
Really?
for the third time. And he gave Germany, when they broke down the wall, Soviet wall, gave them $73 trillion and they didn't do nothing for their people. Those people are starving to death right now. Only the rich got the money. And most of the rich live in the penitentiary.
Yep, like in Russia, the Hague, that's the Russian prison. All the Russian mafia is in there, and they all live in lavishly.
They live like kings.
Yep,
And if you live on the Lord Terror, you lucky that you might get anything. Yes, you Lord.
the
With
lower
the
tiers.
alphabetic shit.
Okay, so Reagan gave how much crack was in the plane?
Huh?
How much crack?
A whole Air Force One was full with crack for me. Not crack, but cocaine.
What airport did it?
He
What
supplied
airport did it land in?
O'Hare. O'Hare served Chicago and Aurora.
Oh,
All of Illinois just about. It's like few air. There's an airport that belongs to Aurora, but it didn't come there.
it came to okay.
It came to O'Hare because they drove in a military vehicle to bring me like 9 bags, or about 10 bags at first, 10 duffel bags of cocaine, and they supplied yes for 3 years in cocaine. They came out over $9 million.
Hmm.
I gave them a million. I kept $1 million, and we got a house. Got houses with us 20 with the other million, which was there were 9 houses. There were 29 houses. They kept one for themselves and they kept one for the girls, so they could move out, but they could have a home to always fall back home. You know, they can move out their house and they can move into their own house. And if one of them wanted to move out of the house, but she ended up selling the girl's house to Cricket, her sister.
Mm.
And I don't know what Cricket did with it. They're all back in the world right now. But anyway, I told him about himself, and he was like amazed that I knew all of what I knew and that I could remember so well from my childhood, from when I was a baby. And by me knowing that he was killing babies, and while they were alive, he was pulling out their fluids. And he was standing right next to him and pushed the fluids into his own head.
When? How did you know this?
God showed me. And when I told him that's what he was doing, he asked what he told me. I told him God told me.
Okay. I know this is true. I know Creator speaks to us directly. Like we don't need no preacher.
And he was so amazed with what I knew about him. About he had over 15 nervous breakdowns, but he only went to the hospital for 10
Why was he taking the baby fluid and
because he had a disease in it that his nervous system was messed up. With,
Parkinson's? Parkinson's.
yeah,
They found it early.
not really. That's what he had Alzheimer's and that.
No, I'm saying they found it early. That's why he was, or either that, or he found out he was a candidate for it early.
He had it all the time. He was just taking a strong nerve pill to keep him steady,
Oh,
and he could only be on the camera so long.
right. They gave him Parkinson's
No,
because
he did so much drugs.
they gave Muhammad Ali Parkinson's too. The drugs is probably a factor, but they gave them people that stuff. Tell me about when you were a baby and you were taken up.
My grandmother and everybody were arguing,
Mm-hmm.
and they wasn't making no sense, and I only knew that I wanted to get to my grandmother, get to my mom. I was 9 months. I crawled all the way to the door. I pushed open the screen door, crawled down the stairs, and as I got to the bottom stair, I stood up. And I walked almost halfway to about 2.5 blocks. I walked. First time I ever walked in my life.
Really?
And as I got to a certain part of the part where you turn and go out to the streets, they didn't even know I was gone. It's all dusty. A light came and I sit down. And when I sit down, my whole body floated up. And all these lights was around me. And they were talking to me.
Okay.
They were saying stuff like I've been chosen and I'm a very special girl. And they're going to show me who I am and what it's about. And I have a job to do and all this stuff. They tell them 9 months old don't know shit. But they're telling me all this stuff and they didn't stop telling me. They told me all through my life. Even now they talk to me still. I keep telling them about her hitting me and her dead. Why did they allow her to hit me? And I keep telling them that I understand. I understand what they doing. It's something that I have to be around for someday to make say these words in a certain place, and I got to be at least 80 years old. And they keep telling me that.
You ain't gonna drink this water.
Yeah, later. I can't eat a lot of this shit. I try to eat the vegetables and the fruit. Because that's what I eat.
Well, you're not 80 yet. You got like 22 years to go. Ugh, something like that.
Well, they guaranteed me 100 And that's when they told me they was 4 years old.
They guaranteed you 100 and what?
3 years old.
103.
I didn't know my grandfather.
So where were you at when this happened?
When they came back to me,
When they first came to you?
with my permission.
Okay. That is a high traffic area for UFO sites.
You know,
You said Ann Arbor or Ben Arbor? Ben Arbor, Michigan.
Ben Harbor,
Ben Harbor, Michigan. Okay.
St. Joe and Ben Harbor, St. Joe, Indiana, and Ben Harbor, Michigan. They're two, they call the two cities. They're right next door to one another.
Okay. 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 Um, do you know how our great grandma Sarah got from Louisiana to Arkansas?
Her husband,
Okay. Her husband was a German, right?
Italian,
A what?
Italian.
Oh, thought he was Italian. I mean German.
Huh?
I thought he was German.
My dad, father was German. My dad's grandfather was German.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother's father was American German.
Sorry.
Her father was Irish German. And my dad's father was German. Grandfather was German.
Okay.
But my mom's mother, her father was Italian. My mom's dad was Italian. My mom's dad was Italian.
So I remember you telling me a story about Sata being like 5 years old or something like that, and he came to visit Sata or somebody.
I was 5 years old.
You were 5 years, okay.
And he ate about one cone ice cream for 6 children. I took the nickel to my mom. My whole granddad gave me a nickel for